All right, guys, while I fill up my wine mug here, I was going to let you guys know I'm getting ready to do a video. We're going to talk about a couple things that I realized I had neglected to ever do, okay? But I got to get my wine ready. I got myself a mug full of wine. It's a little mug. It's just an itty-bitty one. Well, guys, I apologize for having to reach into frame like that at you, but I cannot find my remote anywhere, and I'm really curious as to where I may have put it. So it was brought to my attention the other day when I was at the forge with the guys, and I had been messing around with, let me drink some of my mug of wine here. It was brought to my attention that while I had mentioned the Fortis in a couple of videos, let me actually tip you guys up here just a little bit. Let's see. I'm afraid of your... That probably is better. It was brought to my attention that I had never done an actual video about the Fortis by itself. So, this is my Fortis. You guys have seen it in a couple of videos, but I've never really talked specifically about the Fortis. So the Fortis was one that the boys made, the Ferrum Forge boys, Elliot and Chris, made it back in 2015, and it had been a grail knife of mine for a while. After the first time I ever saw the one that our friend Robert Bodiger had, which is basically the same as this one. So what it is a full 20 CV blade, titanium, just like all their other knives. And these knives the hardware is a little different. In 2015, they were using Allens, as opposed to the Torx construction they use now, and it is steel screws. The only one that wasn't was, as you can see, the pivot screw here, which I had a few beers and did some anodizing, and I redid the pocket clip blue. I figured just a little bit of contrast. I don't want to change a lot on the knife. It's pretty much just the way I want. I don't have very many knives that I have not messed around with and re-anodized and things like that. So I thought I would just leave it. Now I am going to pull this up, and we'll get the camera turned around and take a good look at it up close. But this one has a very unique finish. Some of the, and I've even brought a rag out here so we can look at it. This one has a different finish than the majority of them. There were some of these that got tumbled in a synthetic sapphire, I guess it was. And I'm trying to get these videos shot because I do have to do some sharpening. But I am going to turn this around and we'll talk about it. And then I'll let you guys know why, what's going on. I had something happen. That's the reason I didn't get any videos shot this weekend, like I said I was going to. So let me get this. It's finished wiping it off. Let's get this camera turned around here. I'm leaning in because I got to click you off for a second. All right, we're going to take a look at this. I know this isn't optimal here because I got some weird lighting going on. If you look over here where I normally do it, I got a lot of light. It's going to screw with our look at this. So this one is just blast and tumbled titanium scales. It does now have a lot of pocket wear. This knife had never even been carried, I don't think, when it came to me. Titanium pocket clip. They're same as always, one-sided pivot. I will do a video on how to disassemble a Ferrum Forge knife. It is not that difficult. And this is the Fortis A. The Fortis B had scallops that went this direction as opposed to just straight line milling. I liked this version a lot better, but like I was saying, this has a different blade finish than the others. It is polished, but when you look at it directly, it looks matte. It is very unique. It gives it this gray quality, and I fell in love with that finish the second I saw it on Robert Bodiger's knife. It does fingerprint a lot though, as opposed to like if you had a blast and tumble like what's on my intac or a ceramic finish. But this knife very rarely gets wiped down. I don't so much care about it. Now I will tell you something about that finish. It is very, very slick. When it's cutting through something, there's almost no friction. Now, it is really ergonomic. Birdshot just did a video about one of these not too long ago. He actually had Chris's Fortis. When you get up in here like this, your thumb just falls into a natural position on the back of that blade, and it is so comfortable. This gets used a lot. This does a lot of cutting, and it is, as some people will say, it is fairly thick behind the edge. It's pretty thick behind the edge. I just got a text. I'm sorry. I was reading a text. It's kind of thick behind the edge, but you can always bring your angle back just a little bit. It is 20 CV, full 20 CV, rides on bearings just like all their knives. This is breaking in to be almost as smooth as my Fortis. This one has not seen as much use as my, or not Fortis, I'm sorry, this is my Fortis, as much as my Archbishop, but it still gets a lot of pocket time. It's gonna break in. It doesn't quite drop shut on its own yet, but I've had it apart a couple times, and so it just needs a little bit more break-in time, but it's starting to break in and become extremely smooth. As with all their knives, they use the Hoback rolling detent. They use steel lock bar insert. The nice thing about it is if you take this knife apart, you don't have to take like I've taken other knives apart and anodized them or done ceramic coating on them, and you wind up having to take off if they use the Hoback rolling detent. If it's not a lock bar insert, you would have to take that out and then have to refit it. But so that is an integral part of this. You just take that off, set it off to the side, and your detent is set right back where it was before you started. So the old Ferrum Forge logo, which has changed, and yeah, you can see it's just a pretty awesome knife. So let me get this turned back around, and I will give you guys a second here, and I'll get you turned back around, and we're going to talk. Guys, I'm coming back around here. So yeah, the Ferrum Forge Fortis. As Bird said, there's not much that's not perfect about it. I know Bird mentioned the production version of this that is eventually going to come out. There have been some minor changes that only make it better, but because I've seen the prototype. And no, I can't tell you anything about it, and I will not show you any pictures. But as Bird said, there is one coming. I don't know when, but I have seen it, and it's freaking gorgeous. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it on this one. I was telling you guys, so I had intended to shoot a couple of videos. Let me crank you guys back here a little bit. I had intended and spoke about it that I was gonna do a couple videos this weekend, and they just didn't happen, and there's a good reason for it. So Friday, I found out that a good friend of mine passed away, and I just kind of wasn't in the mood really to do a bunch of videos, so I put them off till today. I had a bunch of stuff I had to finish. I really didn't do much anything this weekend, but it's Monday, it's a holiday, I had a bunch of stuff I needed to do. Wife and kid went to ice skating early, but yeah, basically that's it. I had a really good friend that passed away, and it just kind of put a damper on my weekend for me. So, but that's why you didn't see any videos like I had promised. If you guys follow me on Instagram and watch my live feed, you already have known. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It put a damper on a lot of stuff this week. So, alright guys, that's pretty much it. Ferrum Forge Fortis, if you can get one, I would recommend it. They are awesome. They're not for everybody. One of the things that drew me to it is it's a freaking tank. It fills your hands up real, it's a big honking chunk of metal, but it's still not too heavy, not too unwieldy. It comes in pretty handy. So, have one more video I'm going to try and shoot, but I also have to do some sharpening. So I might do some sharpening and then shoot a video after. So that you guys know. I have a canopy that's coming. It may change the way the videos look. I might not get as much screwy light like we're getting right now where the sun starts to set, because it has sides. That'll allow me to do stuff in the dark and in the rain, because I'm going to hang some lights up. So, alright guys, that's it. I will talk to you all later. You guys have a good day, and I will see you next time. Now I got to reach in and turn you off.